There's definitely fear involved in diving. It's not the sort of fear that you walk in and say, I'm scared, I can't do this, but there's different levels of fear. I think the number one thing in diving is that it's more of one of the more dangerous sports. So it's, I think, a healthy amount of fear that you have a respect for what you're about to do. You realise you need to have a lot of confidence, self-belief and focus. If you have a lapse in focus, it can potentially be a little bit dangerous. But beyond that, I think throughout my life I've experienced fear going into competitions, and that fear of letting others down or not getting the result that I wanted to get. And I think over time I've learnt that fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It's sort of because you know that you're in with a shot, you know you can do well, you're invested in it. And I've learnt how to change the perspective on fear and realise that actually it's helpful and you can use it to your advantage as long as it doesn't snowball into that kind of self-doubt and a lack of self-belief. My tattoo, Only As Much As I Dream Can I Be, is important to me because I think as a young athlete I struggled a lot with self-confidence and self-belief, and I had a tendency to choke under pressure in competitions. So I think that tattoo, I guess, just marks a bit of a change in perspective for me and a bit of growth and maturity as an athlete, and realising that basically the only limitations are the ones that I put on myself. And I think that my biggest competition is actually me most of the time, and it took me a really long time throughout my career to be able to overcome that competition anxiety and be able to perform under pressure. Coping with pressure now, in my old age, as I say, it's something that I really struggled with a lot from a young age, and it's not something that I just clicked my fingers and it went away. I had to work really hard at it, and I still have to work really hard at it. I think as you mature as an athlete and having put the time into it, I realised that it's something that you got to sort of expose yourself to a lot to get better at it. You can't just learn it from somewhere else. And I think just having that experience of competing over the years, trying different things that work and don't work, and learning what works for me is the biggest thing that's helped me get over that sort of anxiety of competing or that being able to perform under pressure. And just, I always try and look for different experiences or different knowledge and seek advice from other people that might just give me a different perspective or help me with that more. And SAS is one of those things that taught me a lot about that, just being able to perform under pressure, especially more in situations where you don't have control. And I think that that's a really good skill in diving or in any sport. When you're competing, a lot of the time your plan goes out the window and you've got to be able to just hold your own, and no matter what happens around you, and be able to perform in any circumstance.